This is the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
I'm not making any money talking these days. Good Christ. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. Still am. I guess I am a decent guy because I'm a fucking jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Apparently I'm a dick. I'm not an awful guy, but I've done so much ridiculous stuff. I'm an awful guy. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. Second verse, same as the first, folks. We just had a false start. I got the point from Lily, and then the yawn happened. A crazy yawn lurked and expelled itself from my body. It crawled out. It wriggled out of my throat pipe. Is that what it's called, the throat pipe? I don't know. Either way, there was a yawn trapped in there, and the second the show started, boom, it escaped. So now it's lurking, and now it's bouncing around the room like Slimer from Ghostbusters. That's not good. I'm going to get mowed over. Hey, how are you, folks? Here's what I found out this week. My wife loves me, but she's not in love with me. My wife dropped that on me. And to a chick, that would bother them. That would bother a girl, I think. But to a guy, I'm just like, oh, well, all right, you're still here, right? You still live with me? Great. That's fine. You're not going anywhere, are you? All right, good, as long as nothing changed. I found this out because my wife, we had our anniversary this week, folks. It was our wedding anniversary. This is so, Karen was telling me that some girl at her work asked her if she was in love with her husband. Which I don't know if that's break room talk, quite frankly. I don't know what's going on at that job. That's, you know what that is? That's somebody who's having some problems in their relationship and is looking for a touchstone, is looking for anybody to reach out to and see what's happening. So I guess they were having a discussion, and as most women do, and when they're not talking about cock size, they wind up talking about stuff like that. Because I've found out that that's a frequent topic of conversation as well, folks. Not when I'm around, I will tell you that. All that talk goes hush-hush when I show up. Just a lot of tittering and furtive glances. But I mean, which is good, because quite frankly, I don't think I want to hear my wife and her coworkers talking about dick size. Honestly, just table that discussion when I fucking show up. Granted, I know it's a party, and we're all here to have a good time. We're cutting loose, and I'm making fucking margaritas. But seriously, let's put the, hey, what does your husband have in his pants talk up on a shelf when said husband walks into the goddamn room. I don't know. I think that's privileged information. I think I think you don't break the seal on that. But I mean, if you feel it's something you have to discuss, go right ahead. I mean, I got nothing to hide, I guess. I mean, until 2:00 in the morning when the party gets a little weird and everybody goes, well, why don't you just whip it out? What? What happened to playing on the dartboard and Scrabble and Pictionary? Don't draw my cock. All right, so. Why am I talking? All right. So anyway, here so I guess my wife, some woman at her work dropped that on her. Like, do you love your husband, or are you in love with your husband? And Karen, she didn't mean it in a mean way. Karen just said, I love my husband. I'm not in love with him. I mean, because Karen thinks that's a ridiculous concept, to her credit, and because again, she's right. Like I said, a man, it doesn't bother a man. Do you love me? Yes, great, done. I don't need to hear, I don't love you, but I'm not in love with you. Because all that's just a phrase invented to break up with somebody. That's the whole thing behind I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Those words exist only to get you out of something easier. That's it. That whole sentence has been created just to get you out of your fucking relationship. That's it. It's just a chicken shit way for you to fucking bail. That's it. So when this chick dropped that on her, Karen's just like, well, I love my husband. He's my husband, and that's that. I'm not in love with him. And she told me that. And again, it doesn't bother me. I'm cool with that because again, it's a very guy way to look at it. Look, I love you. Bang. That's it. We don't need to fucking hash over semantics. I don't need conjunction, junction, what's your function in here to fucking sort out my relationship with you. I'm not hooking up words and phrases and clauses. I love you. That's it. We're married. Done. So that's a very manly way to look at it. And so that's how my wife looked at it. She was like, I love my husband. I don't need to worry about this in-love bullshit. I love him. But what made me upset about it, when you think about it, is because and again, I shouldn't worry about it. I pretend to be I pretend to be a cool customer, folks. And by the way, could that be further from the truth? A cool customer? Are you fucking kidding me? I don't pretend to be that at all. I'm a fucking jackhat who's hard. Jackhat? Did I say jackhat? I'm a jackass whose heart is on his sleeve. That's what I was going to say. I'm just a fucking hoop like the rest of you folks. All right? That's a word I'm trying to bring back in. Hoop. Because people keep writing me and saying you hoop like at the end of it, and then I forget to say it. So take that, you hoop. But I'm not a cool customer by any means. I think we all know this. And so when my wife, she tells me that she had to have this conversation and that the in love, and because Karen, rightfully so, sees the ridiculousness behind it. And I do too on the surface, but then I say to her, I go, oh, no. And she's like, what? I go, dude, just tell them you're in love with me. And she says, why? I go, look, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't. I mean, because I understand where you're coming from. But now the people at your work think that you're not in love with your husband, and the fucking hens will gather in the break room, and when they're not talking about cock size, they'll be discussing the fact that you're in an unhappy marriage. Why create that hassle for yourself? She's like, well, because I don't see the point of, I'm in love or in love. I mean, I love you. You're my husband. And I go, yes, and absolutely on the surface that works fine. But when all it takes is fucking, 6 tits and 3 mouths to get together, and the next thing you know, you're getting a divorce, and you're miserable with your husband, and I'm a dick. And the next time I have to see these people at some fucking function or some picnic or whatever, it's bad enough they're all talking about not only my cock size, but now they're talking about the fact that you don't love me, despite the fact that you gave them favorable reviews on my cock size. So seriously, I just, you know what? When people come to you at your work, when anybody comes to you with, are you in love with your husband? If anybody drops that, that's a trick. That's a bullshit trick. That's almost like she's asking you that because she wants to break up with you. Like that's just weird. Check this yes or no box bullshit. Study hall pass and notes nonsense. That's all it is. That's chick bullshit. So don't get sucked into the chick bullshit. If they ask you, are you in love with your husband? Just say yes. Just to avoid the hassle I have to deal with when I have to go to one of their houses for a party and they all have to give me a fucking sideways glance as I'm making appletini, please. And yes, I made appletini once. We went to a party and Karen, that was her deal. It was a housewarming deal, so she bought the whole appletini set. She bought, and believe me, that comes with everything. It comes with your glasses, it comes with your apple, it comes with your liquor, it comes with your gay guy, it comes with everything. Right in the box. You just unpack it, and there's, Andy Dick from Old School. He hops out, teaches how to give a blowjob, you make 3 appletinis and suck a cock. That's how it works. So I wind up making the appletinis, and it was great because I will tell you, these people had just moved in, so they had like no weight. The one thing it didn't come with was like a shaker, so I found like a Slim Fast shaker in the cabinet and just fucking shook up some appletinis, bang, bang. I said, you know what, don't wash that, by the way, because then your sensible shake for lunch and dinner will taste much better because it's covered with fucking alcohol. Do that. And they said, great, hey, we're going to go talk about your dick in the other room. Fantastic. I'm glad that my wife's coworkers are having this discussion. Jesus Christ. Oh, so I found out that my wife, happy anniversary. My wife loves me, but she's not in love with me. So I don't know if that's code. And again, you know what? This might have been some weird bullshit that my wife made up to put a weird thing in my head. Like she might have been, what if this is weird psychological warfare that Karen came at me with, where she's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking, screw with this guy's head and then drop that on him and he's going to think about it. Then he's going to talk about it on his little fucking show that I don't listen to. All right. I don't know if that's the case. But yeah, so it was our anniversary, and we had a fun time. And I'm going to tell you, folks. Look, you know what? Rocky with a Blog is starting. I know I mentioned it a month ago, but here's where it's at. I should fucking just publish this thing because the whole point was I was going to do it on my website, but I can't publish communiques on my website. There's something wrong. So I've been dealing with my web guy. He heard back from tech support, and what it is they have to upgrade my entire WordPress. Okay, just so you know, I'm not lying about this. They have to upgrade WordPress, and he told me today that the good news about that is it's going to erase every fucking thing I've ever put up on my WordPress blog communique account. So all of my old communiques for the past 2 years are going to be fucking erased. And here's my web guy. He goes, honestly, I haven't gotten to it yet. I'll be honest with you, probably because I'm going to have to back all of that up by hand, and that's going to be a lot of work. Well, it's good to know my web guy is me. He's putting off doing something because it's going to be a huge amount of fucking work. Well, great. I'm glad that you've come clean about this. And I know, and he's like, so I'll probably get to it this weekend because he has other clients. He's not just, my guy. That would be fucking weird. I have, yeah. You know what? He is. He's my web slave. He's a guy. I bought him at auction, and he just does all my web stuff. So he's going to take care of it. He says hopefully by Monday or Tuesday it will be all squared away. And also, Rocky with the Blog is not started because I have a doctor's appointment because I have to make sure that I don't drop dead while I'm trying to become Rocky with the Blog. I need to go ahead and I got to have a physical. So I actually have an appointment tomorrow morning to go and get a physical. Don't you have a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning? All right, just checking. Hey, that's our friend Lily Von Stupp, by the way. She's the producer, and she did. Oh my God, she had her big circus show on Monday and. She has, honestly, I want you to put this outfit on and like, we should make a YouTube clip of you wearing that outfit because she made an outfit, she created like a circus outfit and it's fucking badass. It's like, it's magenta, I would say, but not the bright magenta that magenta sounds like. You know what I mean? Like it's fuchsia. There you go. It's a fuchsia, like a ringmaster jacket, and she's got a top hat with sequins, and she's got these fucking like knee-high boots with sequins on the heel that are also fuchsia. God damn, it's awesome looking. Let's put it this way. On a hanger, it looks great. I can't even imagine what it would look like on fucking Lily. So I should make her fucking do a clip and put it up. But it's a good-looking outfit that she made from scratch. Because she's got that kind of time. All right. Yeah, no kidding. We're not. Believe me, I could be making outfits with all the fucking things I'm not doing. So, where did I go? Where was I at? No, before that. The doctor's appointment. So okay, so you know what? I need to hire a girl. I seriously need. I mean, you're the producer, and you're very busy doing things and writing things on tablets and keeping the Audacity running. But man, I need to hire an intern to sit here and just listen to me talk. And read back the notes like a stenographer or something. You know what I mean? Like with that weird fucking machine that doesn't make any noise when they click on it. Like it's a silent typewriter, but I think it just types symbols. I don't even know what the fuck stenographers are typing. Does it? It's like weird, right?
It has shorthand in it.
Shorthand?
Yeah.
How do you type shorthand? Why would you type shorthand? Why wouldn't you just fucking type typist stuff?
Because it's only like 22 keys. Because it's got like A's and ats, and so it's like all.
That's awful.
Yeah.
That's like typing Morse code. You might as well just be sending fucking deet. I mean, that's all right. So we need to hire somebody to do that anyway. Because again, I'm never gonna have to fucking do it. So we gotta hire somebody. I need an intern. That's what I need. I need an intern to come in and just work once a week and then just kind of follow along and furiously scribble. That'd be a great name for a band, Furiously Scribble. Actually, I saw them. They opened for Death Cab for Cutie. I have not done that in weeks. Months, perhaps. It's harder to do that when you're alone. I'll be honest with you. That's something it's easier to do when you're with people and you're banging around, and then someone will say something stupid, and you go, "Hey, I just saw them open for whoever." And when you're doing it alone, you sound like a fucking madman. All right. It's much more fun with your friends, as are all things, including podcasts. All right. As well as listening to podcasts. That's right. You should listen with your friends. You know what you should do? You should get like a universal jack and plug it into your iPod and then have like 9 of your friends. It's like when you Xbox with people across the country and you wind up playing football with them, you play Madden. You should do that. You should do that with an iPod and get everybody jacked in and listening to my show at once and have listening parties. That's what you should do. Everybody should sit around and go to a fucking fondue restaurant and just have earbuds on while you're eating melted cheese and cooking meat in it. That's what you should do, God damn it. I go down a lot easier with a fondue. As will most of your dates, you'll find if you take them out. Take a date to a fondue joint. I guarantee you're gonna get a fucking you're gonna get balls washed later that night. Everything goes down easier with a fondue. All right. So Rocky with a blog. So again, first of all, I will tell you this: if I'm losing weight, I can't go to a fondue place. As much as I might want to get hummed, I can't go there because I will lose. You're eating cheese. All they get at fondue joint is cheese, meat, and chocolate. That's it. You know what you're doing? You're eating a Ween album. Every time you go to a fondue place, that's all they do. They bring you a Ween album, and you read the title of it. Oh, chocolate and cheese? Of course, bring that. That's it. That's all you have when you go to a fondue joint. You get to come along, and they bring you a Ween album, and you order off of that. That's it. That made me laugh that I thought of that. All right. So we went to a fondue joint once, Karen and I. And it was an idea I did not want to go. I'm like, fuck this. I don't want to go. But Karen's like, come on, it'll be fun. I'm like, all right, I guess we can go do it. It just seemed weird that you're cooking cubes of bread at your table. It just seemed like such a fucking, I'm not in the army. I mean, why the fuck am I cooking small things over a flame? I'm not a fucking cowboy. Jesus Christ. Have somebody cook my food and bring it to me. I don't want to fucking, and oh no, it'll be fun, and you got skewers and a fucking cherry tomato. Fuck all that. I'm not interested in that. I just want to eat. Again, it's like when I went to the Fogo de Chao. I go to the fucking Brazilian steakhouse. I don't want a meat puzzle. I just want fucking meat. I don't want you to keep, guys to keep bringing fucking tenderloin over and then slicing it off. I don't want a goddamn meat puzzle. Just bring me a plate of food. But luckily, we went to the fondue joint, and here's something inexplicable for fondue places. There was a wait. There was a wait of like 40 minutes, and it got me out of having to go to the fondue joint. I was like, Karen just looked at me, she's like, 40 minutes? Like, let's get the fuck out of here. I didn't want to eat here when there was no wait. I didn't want to eat if it was free. Really? You going to bring me pots of scalding cheese? Get the fuck out of here. I'm leaving immediately. Oh, and I got to wait 45 minutes for the privilege of cooking my own food? Get bombed, you fuck. All right. I'm really angry at fondue. Why am I angry at a way to eat from the 70s? That makes no sense. You know what else I fucking hate? Poaching. All right, so fuck you. Poached eggs, poached chicken, poached nonsense. Really? You're cooking with hot water? Disgusting. I love food. So Rocky with a blog starts soon. Very soon, because again, I have a physical tomorrow, and which means I've got to go. I think it'd be awesome. What if I get to run on a treadmill with that thing strapped to my face? I think that'd be awesome. Like they check me out for that. And I'm going to check my blood for. And by the way, my blood, the consistency of melted cheese at this point, I would assume, for 2 years of fucking around and doing nothing. But so anyway, so Rocky with a blog starts soon. I'm shooting for September 1st because again, we all know my fondness for round numbers. And it just happens to be dovetailing nicely with my physical and with my website and everything like that. It seems to be working out fine. So I have high goals, and I will state those goals. Again, I'm not going to contaminate this show with all that nonsense. But if you want to follow it, again, I'll tell you when it's officially launched. But I just say this for people who doubted me and who think, because I am getting emails from people like, "What the fuck, idiot." Although I get those every week. But these are specifically about that. And remember I told you a couple weeks ago about the person who wanted to race me? I misunderstood that person's email. They didn't want to race me like, hey, let's get a headband and gray sweats and go run on a track. They want to race me as in their progress versus my progress. Like they want to have a contest, like a weight deal. So I'm in. I mean, it was funny. I wrote that person back an email because this person wrote me 2 long emails, and they were very nice, but also I told you, kind of bracing, like challenging me and calling me out. So I ignored them, as I have done with most emails. Not ignored them, but it's just, I mean, dude, I have. When I get a long email, I think it deserves a long response. So I will answer shorter emails, but my OCD makes me answer things in order. I'm a fucking mess. I'm a mess. So, I mean, there's guys, so if you've sent me an email, it's going to get answered, okay? I will answer it. I swear to God. But it just keeps, and it's not like I'm sitting around playing Xbox and email is piling up. What if I did that? That's it. I just sit, you know what? I got the new Madden. Folks, I'm going to come clean. I've just done nothing but Madden for days, which may explain why my wife is not in love with me. But, actually, I haven't picked up the Madden yet because you know why? I have no fucking friends. That's why. Because there's nobody to play with. And again, I don't relish the idea of some fucking 11-year-old in Virginia kicking my ass with the Ravens. So I don't go on Xbox and play with the nation. I don't do that. I just sit in my house and do franchise mode, and I win 6 Super Bowls with the Texans, which I did last Madden. It was so great. Just dominated. All right, so who cares? Nobody. But again, I'm not playing against anybody. It's not fun to dominate. It's just me killing time all night, staying up and playing Madden and then going to bed at 7 a.m. All right, so. I'm not sitting around maddening, Xboxing while fucking email just piles up in my computer. That's not happening, folks. If emails have been sent to me, I will answer them. But this person who wanted to race me sent me 2 long emails, so I finally wrote this person back and I said, look, what you've written deserves a longer response, but I'm not ducking you. That's all I want you to know. 2 things. One, yes, I do continue to do, Rocky with the Blog is going to start because I have to meet with my doctor. I explained what I just explained to you. And 2, I don't know if you're still up for this, but I hope you are because I look forward to completely destroying you over the next few weeks. Because you know what? You want to call me out, you're going to get fucking called out yourself. So as soon as it launches, you'll know about it, and then you can go follow along at MikeSchmidtComedy.com if you want to. And if you don't, I completely understand, because who would? Who would really want to? Me and this person who's racing. And it's funny, this person who was racing was, they were all like, yeah, you know what, you fuck, I'm going to clean your clock, and you're going to go down. And then after I wrote them back, they wrote back, I am so excited to go against you. Don't say my name ever. Because I thought it was going to be like this cool thing where we charted it in the blog, and I was going to go tail of the tape like with boxers, and I was going to put down weight and height and all this stuff. And then every week I would let that person update if they wanted to update. Like I thought it was going to be competing deals, and I could update it through the blog and talk to that person. And literally I got this email back where they're just like, don't say my name. So I think it will be less of a public race than I thought it was going to be. So we'll have to rely on. Well, no, I mean,
Can you make a name up?
Sure I could. I could, of course. You know what? I've been accused of that in the past, and it's funny you would say that. This came to my attention this week. Last week, folks, I told a story on this show about being in driver's ed and falling asleep. So I told the story last week, and then I talked to my friend Max. I will talk to him after the show because he listens to the show back the next day, and then we talk. And I want to make sure the artwork, whatever. We touch base because he's part of the team, folks. We'll have a big, indeed, we have the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. We have a big meeting. It'll be me, Big James, Chewy. Joaquin will be there sometimes, and Max and Lily, of course, will be there. And we'll all break down everything that's happened. And the hosts of Who Would Win in a Fight, they'll be there as well. So we will go ahead and decompress. So Max, I get on the phone with him, and he goes, and I should tell you, my greatest fear of this show, folks, is repeating myself. Because I know the show walks a very thin line between foolishness and insanity, and I come off either as a really funny guy who you wouldn't mind hanging out with, or a crazy person you would have no problem crossing the street to avoid. Which is a lot more difficult when I'm in your earbuds. I can tell you that. If you hear me being crazy in your earbuds and you go across the street, guess what? I'm coming with you. So I also don't want to. I want to avoid being doddering old man who tells the same old stories, because then all of a sudden I'm fucking Abe Simpson and I'm in the fucking Springfield retirement home, and I'm I remember we had an onion on my belt because that was the style of the day. I mean, I don't want to be that fucking guy. I don't want to be sitting here boring you with tales of the Kaiser. So I need to remember stuff, and the problem is I've thought of this way too late in the run. I mean, we're 75. This is the 75th episode, by the way, of this show, folks. 23 now and 52 before, and yes, I count the clip shows and episodes. I guess technically this is 74 and a half. I don't know. By year one, you'll find out what the clip show was, and you'll hate me for it. All right, so and you'll look forward to this year's, because don't think there won't be one. All right, so I was thinking about what to do on that this year's clip show, if there is one. All right, never mind. Who cares? Why should I bore you with that fucking talk? All right, folks, that's at least 20 episodes down the line. So I know for a fact that I don't want to be crazy guy. So I'm too late in the run to go back and listen to every episode and keep a glossary of what I fucking talked about. And I've been very clear, I think, saying, look, I don't know what I've talked about. So if I want to repeat myself, I need you guys to kind of bear with me and not worry about it. And hopefully you'll give me some leeway, and that'll be fine. That would be the case, except for I called my best friend in the world last week, and the first thing out of his mouth was, you told that story already, right? Like, literally, I'm like, hey, what's up? You told that story. What? Max goes, yeah, dude. And here's again my fears. Again, folks, I'm 42 years old, and I'm telling these stories off the top of my head. Like, I'm remembering them and spitting them out. Okay, so if I wind up going down a road I've already traveled, well, guess what? We're all going down that road, and then afterwards I'm going to fucking hate myself, which is where I'm at right now. Because I guess last year I've told the falling asleep story before. My buddy told me that. And so I told it last week, and not only that, I guess when I told it before, my friend Alex was the guy who told me that I couldn't drive. Like, basically, when I told it last week, I went into more detail, but I fucked the names up. So Max told me, he's like, dude, you fucked that story up. I mean, you told it before, and you told it with Alex and the other names. And here's why I fucked it up. Because last week, and I even stopped in the middle of the story. I go, all right, I got to remember this. And I took a second, and I said last week Mark Schramm was in the car. because that was, in my head, I'm like, who was it? Was it Schramm? It had to be Schramm, right? But it turns out it was Shaw. It was my buddy Alex Shaw who was in the car with me. And so when I first told the story, I was right. It was Alex Shaw, and now I tell it last week with fucking Mark Schramm. And then Mex is just like, dude, you told that fucking story. And so now I just don't want to look like a fucking dick. That's basically it. All right, I don't want to look like some old man who's just fucking recounting his glory days and telling. And by the way, glory days. Can we rethink that fucking term? Never before has the term glory days been used more inaccurately than it was in that previous fucking sentence. The glory days of falling asleep in a car and driver's ed? Really? Ah, yes. Those were the halcyon days of my youth when I was failing things and ruining everything and setting the groundwork for a long life of inactivity and failure. What a jackass. Yeah, glory days. That's exactly what that was. All right. Falling asleep in a car in February and drooling on a window. God damn, it doesn't get any better than that, does it? No, of course it doesn't. You know where you go from there? Downhill. That's it. Next thing you know, you're in a stripper's bedroom telling stories over and over and over again that people have heard many fucking times. You fucking idiot. Glory days. Well, they'll pass you by. Yeah, in my case, they passed me by when I was fucking 15. And I know that was the point of the song, but I didn't even get to reach the heights. I didn't have a friend who was a baseball player who could throw that speedball by you. I had a friend who woke me up and told me I was like fucking sleeping and couldn't drive. That's my glory days. Wow. Never before has anyone used those two words more incorrectly. Oh, Jesus.
Children the world over have fallen in love with the Island of Misfit Toys. Why, here come some Moppets now.
Sir, do you have the Fisher-Price Laugh and Learn Never Forget 9/11 playset?
Yes.
Chalk?
Okay.
Sir, do you have the Pink Floyd Bubble Umma Gumma trading cards?
Maybe.
Rope?
Yeah.
I really want the Walker Texas Ranger Lil Minuteman Border Patrol kit.
Well,
Fangs.
okay.
I want a tampon from Sarah Silverman.
Sure you do.
Cake? The Super Angry Gaijin Happy Good Time Yelling Houropoly?
I'm sure we've got all of those things and more at the Island of Misfit Toys, a subsidiary of MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Let's join the 40-year-old boy, already in progress.
So I was lucky enough to have Max punch me in the balls last week with that. Right when I called him, and it's so funny because I was all excited about the show. I thought it was kind of funny, and I'm like, oh yeah, the possum story, and then I called him, and the first thing was, hey dude, you told that story, and I'm like, I hate the show. I want it down. I want to take it off the fucking. Because again, folks, there's no middle ground. There's none. I wish there was, but there's not. There's either hey everything's great or holy fuck where's the bridge? Because I'm jumping off it, and it's just that's. So I immediately hated the show. Like I was like, I got to take it down. I got to take it off the internet. I got to erase. You know what? Why do I even do the show? I got to fucking stop doing this goddamn show. Why do I even talk? You know what? I'm gonna sew my fucking mouth shut because all I do is fucking spew out babble that nobody fucking cares about. I gotta go ahead and do everything. You know what? I'm gonna fucking staple my lips shut. That's what I'm gonna fucking do. I'm gonna fucking Captain Howdy myself like fucking D. Snyder in goddamn Strangeland, and I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that my mouth doesn't fucking open ever again because nothing that comes out is anything that anybody would want to hear. Fuck it. Kill it. So that's where I was. So. There you go. So I guess my point is if I fucking wind up repeating a story, I don't know, fast forward? I don't know what the fuck you could do. I don't know. I mean, I just tell you that now. So please. And it's so funny. There was a listener who wanted to buy in year one, very nice guy, and he came up with a glossary of year one. Like, and he sent it to me, and he's like, hey, maybe you could use this. And foolish me went, nah. I don't think so. I really like it, but I'm going to try to get people to get the liner notes for year one. Like I fucking put it off. So then when I realized it was a pretty good idea, I wrote him back and I'm like, dude, I would actually kind of like to use this glossary, maybe put it on my website or something. It's really neat. And he never wrote me back, which I don't blame him. Maybe he's busy playing his Xbox. He's busy in front of the Xbox down under, and maybe I should just contact him via the Xbox, because again, maybe the email doesn't work down under because doesn't the mail spin counterclockwise down there? How does it work? I don't know how it works. It's the water in the sink. Anyway, I'm stupid. So if I wind up, and again, here's a story. I guarantee I haven't told this fucking story because it happened fucking yesterday. This happened to me, folks. Folks, you might know, if there's anything we can all agree on, it's I'm an actor. I'm a professional in this business, and I'm indicated as such by my 1 or 2 auditions a year. So, I had an audition yesterday, folks, and I've talked about the auditioning process. I've told you a little bit about it in my very limited capacity for going to auditions. I know what they used to be like in the past when I was booking commercials and stuff. Now nobody knows who the fuck I am and nobody cares. So I wind up getting this, out of the woods. I get an audition yesterday for Arby's. That's right, America's roast beef. Yes, sir. And they call me up, and they don't call me up. Yes, Arby's called me up. You know what it was? It was Mr. Arby. And he's like, hello, will you please come in? That's how he talks. So I wound up getting an audition for Arby's. So I have to go, and my audition is at 5:40 p.m. Now, I will tell you that that's a late audition. Usually auditions are, generally like a work day, like from anywhere from 9 to 5 or 9 to 6. So 5:40 usually means you're like the last dude who's going to get seen and the day is going to end. And so you're like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. And also, they're hustling usually near the end of the day. So you're just showing up. And I should tell you that I was going in for bully/large man. Okay? And what it was, it's an Arby's commercial where there's, I guess, a 1 cent combo. And, they'll show people in the restaurant, and some guy will go, my 1 cent combo went for this. And then he'll have a new car. My 1 cent combo, da-da. And then there's a little skinny guy, and he goes, my 1 cent combo went for his roast beef sandwich. And I'm the mean guy, and I'm supposed to look at him mean. Like, that's right, I'm eating your fucking roast beef sandwich. So essentially, if it was on HBO, I would rape him. But in a commercial, I just eat his sandwich. So, which is a nice way of saying rape. I rape his that's what I did. I rape his sandwich. I rape his Arby's sandwich, and then I rape him with my eyes with a mean look. So they immediately saw my glare and went, we got to get this guy in. So I get to go audition at Arby's. So I will tell you that the audition was on the other side of town from me. So I would have had to take the 405 freeway, and there's all these. But instead, I map out a whole new angle. I go Coldwater, and it's at 5:45, and the traffic is fucking brutal. And I'm like, I got to leave a little earlier, so I leave like with an hour to spare. And I get there. I get there at like 5:20. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm like 20 minutes early. So I go into the actor building, the casting director place. And I walk in, and right away, there's only 2 auditions going on. And I turn the corner, and I'm not going to lie to you folks, there's got to be 60 people there, 60 actors. Now, that's, and again, it's in a building where there's like 5 or 6 different casting directors, that makes sense. There can be 75 people all waiting for, all these different auditions. But as I mentioned, when I come in the door, I see that there's only 2 auditions. There's Arby's, and then there was a Samsung audition, I think it was. And when I come around the corner, there's 60 dudes just standing there. And I go to look for the sign-in sheet. So when you first go in, you need to sign in so then they can call your name and order, blah, blah, blah. So I go up to the sign-in sheet, and I can't find it. And then I look. There's a line at the sign-in sheet, which I will tell you makes no sense. Because normally the sign-in sheet, all you do is you walk up, you sign your name, and then you walk away. But the fact that there's a line for the sign-in sheet makes me go, all right, this is crazy, because there's like 6 people in line to sign their name. It makes no sense. And there's another line of people outside the door of the casting director. So I look at the audition where the Samsung is. The door's closed. There's no Samsung audition. It's closed and finished. These 60 people are here to audition for Arby's. And I will tell you, when I finally get to the sign-in sheet, sitting there, normally these places will have people working there. They'll have actors sometimes will come in and help out casting directors. They'll work as casting assistants. So I get to the front of the line, and there's a kid there, probably 22. I'm going to guess he's 22 years old. And he's just he's just a young man, okay? And he's basically a human sigh. Does that make any sense? He's just literally sitting there, and he's like, whatever. Like, he's very hipster and very much, he's over it, okay? He's only 22, but he's over it. And I can tell you, when that person's in a position of authority, it's a little hard to deal with. Because, we're all there waiting, and you're trying to remain cheerful because, you know what? You're basically sitting in a fucking line now waiting to get your name. It's a cattle call. They call it a cattle call for a reason, because it's very impersonal. You sit there waiting for your name to get called. You walk in, and essentially half the time they want you to make a face, and then you leave. There's no acting in commercials, okay? But there's 60 people, and they're bringing in one person at a time. Usually they'll bring in 3 or 4 at a time, especially for a commercial where it's just a look or there's one line. Well, they're bringing in one person at a time, and I start to realize that there's a line outside the door of like 30 people, and then there's the other 35 people who aren't even in line yet. So I figure they're making the Arby's movie. That's the only thing I can think at this point. If the casting director is bringing one person in at a time and having them emote, what the fuck? We're selling goddamn fake roast beef. I mean, I don't think you need these people to come in and do Hamlet. What the fuck is happening? Unless they're selling a Hamlet sandwich or something at fucking Arby's. There's some new twist. But they're bringing in one person at a time, and each person is getting like 4 or 5 minutes. Now, as an actor, you dream for that sort of attention. Like, you get to go in and meet the casting director, but that's the shit you do when you go to producers. You know what I mean? It's not the shit you do right when the first audition happens. Usually after they make the cut, they start bringing people in like that. Anyway, the human Psy is sitting there, and he stands up then, and he decides he's going to tell us all how to act. So he goes, all right, I just want to tell you guys, man number 2, when you go in, you're just going to be happy. You're just like acting like a normal guy. And skinny guy, when you go in, you're intimidated. Like, he's basically telling actors how to act. When they all have copies of the sides in front of them and they know what they have to do. I mean, if a casting director comes out and tells you what he wants, it's a different story. When a casting assistant does it, it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. You're us. You just happen to be manning the goddamn sheet. So he stands up and he starts talking, and nobody really talks to him. Nobody listens. We listen, I should say, but nobody says, okay, great, or thanks, or anything, and he talks into space. So finally, I sit down. They start bringing people in one at a time still. Time is going by. He's sitting there. And if the human Psy was a chick, he would have been filing his nails. Like, he's that kind of attitude. Just like, oh, another day, another dog. Like, he's just a dick. So then there's dissension in the ranks. Someone asks if he can come up and if he can go a little sooner than the rest of the guys in line because he has a place that he has to be. And he checks at the other actors, and the other actor's like, yeah, no problem. He goes to the human Psy and asks, and the human Psy goes, nah, man, can't move you up. And he goes, well, there's a problem here. We've been here a long time, and I need to be somewhere by 6:30, so I got to get out of here. And the guy goes, well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, there's an order, and everybody's in line, and I can't let you go in. So then some other actors start to say, hey, we don't mind if he goes in ahead of us. It's fine. It's not a problem. And he goes, well, I don't care. I'm telling him that he can't go ahead of you guys. There's a line, and we're going to stick to it. So his attitude just fucking rubs everybody the wrong way. And so it turns into like there's a little bit of sniping back and forth between him and the actors. And it starts to get a little ugly. Not going to lie to you, because he stands up and starts telling people who've been in line that they need to basically be quiet and stand in line. And I might have mentioned that, there are skinny guys and there are guys there for man too, but there's a bunch of people there who are auditioning for large man bully. Maybe it's not a good idea to stand up and start antagonizing them. That's just what I'm going to tell you. So one guy finally says, look, I've been here since 3:30. Okay, now folks, I'm there. It's by the time all this starts to happen, when I walk in, it's now 10 to 6. This guy goes, I've been here since 3:30 waiting. Okay, and for you to sit here and give us this attitude makes no sense. And he goes, well, you know what? If you don't like it, you guys can leave. Now that's wrong on a few levels because first of all, a lot of these people have been waiting 2 fucking hours. You think they're going to pack it in at that point and go, oh, yeah, I don't need to audition for the national commercial. I'm just going to go ahead and fucking take off because this little fucking slip of a man just told me I should take off. So there's a guy who's a big dude. He's wearing like a black T-shirt, and he's bald, and he's mean. And he goes, because the guy goes, if you guys don't like it, you can leave. And he goes, oh, I know I can leave if I want to. I don't want to leave. I'm here to do my job. And then another bully guy says, you know what? I've been doing this 15 years. And I've never been in a line this crazy. I've been here almost 2.5 hours. I can't. Seriously, the human side looks at him and goes. And now I should tell you, it's starting to infect everybody. Like you see mob mentality start to happen. One person gets mad, and then another person kind of backs that person up, and then there's pockets of dissension start, and eventually the building gets burned down and somebody's head is on a spike. I mean, this is what happens. It happened in the old days. It can happen in the new days, depending on how far people get pushed. So he says, you guys can leave. The one guy goes, look, I know I can leave if I want to. And the one guy says, look, I've been doing this 15 years, man. I've never seen anything like this. I've been here almost 2.5 hours. The human side looks at that guy and says, well, if you've been doing this 15 years and you're still waiting in lines like this for commercials, I guess that says something about your career.
Oh my Christ!
And I should tell you, I was twittering. I was in the middle of twittering where I was going to write, I'm at an Arby's audition and things are getting ugly. Like I was going to Twitter that, but I went, I'm at an Arby's, and I hear him start to say that, and I accidentally hit send. And he said to the guy, if you've been doing this 15 years and you're still standing in lines like this for commercials, I guess that says something about your career. There's silence, okay? There's this weird silence, and then I stand up and I go, you did not just say that to him. Because I couldn't fucking take it. I couldn't, because again, everybody was pissed and we hated this guy anyway, and he's being a dick and he's condescending and there's tension in the room, and I said, you know what, fuck this. I'll be Mookie. I'll grab the fucking garbage can and throw it through Sal's fucking pizza window. Let's do this. Because honestly, people were fucking stunned that this guy said this. I mean, it was, because you don't say that. What are you doing? We're all trying to be nice, and there's a line. It's just this weird tension. Everybody's pissed, and half these guys are bully large man. This guy looks like you could slip him under the door if you had to. I mean, he's just this tiny little, he's just sighing in your face and just, bleach blonde hair. Oh my God, awful. And so I literally have a guy get my phone in my hand, and he says that, and I stand up and I go, you did not just say that to him. And then everybody goes, oh my God, you did not just, like literally, I lit the fucking match, and everybody just goes for this guy. And they're just like, you didn't fucking just say that. Are you fucking kidding me? And this guy loses his mind, the guy he said it to, and goes, get your fucking boss out here. Get your boss out here right now. He walks right up to the human Psy, and the human Psy kind of shrinks, and he's nose to nose with him, and he's got a finger in his face. I want your boss. I want your boss right now. I don't want you to go talk to your boss. I want you to get your boss. I've been doing this 15 years. There's no fucking way you talk to me like that. And I'm in the background just kind of like going, yeah, come on, baby. I want to see somebody get jacked. I don't fucking care. And the best part is, I've only been there for like 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Or no, I've been there a half hour at this point. I've been there a half hour. Other people have been there for almost 3 hours waiting to get auditioned for the Arby's movie that apparently they've cast into an epic that, fucking Charlton Heston's going to be in it and Yul Brynner. I don't know what the fuck's happening. It's the 10 menu items. That's what it is. They're making that. And I'm going to have to part the Hershey sauce, and we're all going to cross to the other side. Unbelievable. So finally he goes to, and he kind of like backs up, and they back him up against the door and go, get your boss. So he goes into the office, and he's again he's trying to maintain the attitude, but you can see he's shaken because now there's 30 guys who want to kill him, who want to fucking kill him. So he goes in and he gets his boss, who's a woman. She walks out, and when she walks out, he immediately starts going, I just tried to tell these guys that they need to be patient. And we go, no. And everybody just starts yelling, you did not say that. And then the actor, I will tell you this, the guy who, he said to him, you've been doing this 15 years and that says something about your career. We give him the floor because he was the one who was initially wronged. So he starts to tell the woman what happened. And I'm not going to lie to you, he did it really fucking poorly. All right, so he just started he's like, yeah, and then another thing, and he did this. And I'm like, dude, you're not hitting the coaching points. You're not hitting any bullet points. Quite frankly, you've been doing this 15 years, you should be a better actor. Maybe I'm with the human Psy on this for just a second. It's like, dude, you've got all of this rage behind you. Crystallize it for us in words. Be the guy. We need you to come forth and be the eloquent master of all of the people behind you. You need to be, you know what? You need to be Heston. You need to go fucking talk to the burning bush and drop it on this fucking chick and tell her why we're all ready to go ahead and drop this guy off the golden calf. Seriously, do it. So he kind of starts talking. He's talking in circles, and she immediately starts apologizing. Like, she doesn't even get the crux of it. She's just like, I'm so sorry. It's that weird when you can see people, or an entire room of fucking people is angry, you immediately just go into apology mode. You just start you're John Cleese in Fish Called Wanda being hung off the goddamn windowsill. I apologize unreservedly. It's this weird, it's a great apology, but it's an apology that sounds rehearsed and pat because you're not dealing with our concerns. All you're doing is saying an apology thinking it will calm us down. So finally she starts apologizing, and he's kind of continuing to talk, and then he's quiet and he lets her talk, and she finishes talking. She goes, okay, fellas, are we all okay? And I go, no, we're not okay. I go, that guy said to him, you know what? If you've been doing this 15 years and you're still waiting in lines for commercials, maybe that says something about your career. And she looks at me and goes, he said that? And these other actors go, thank you. Like, to me, because again, we were all hoping that one dude would go ahead and convey our point for us, but he never said that he said that. He was just like, all he said was, I've been doing this 15 years. I've never been so insulted, da-da-da, but he never made it sound, he never told her what he said. I said it. And people look at me and go, thank you. And she makes this face like, oh, he really said that to you guys? And we're like, yeah. No, why? No, he didn't. You know what? It's funny, now that you mention it, he didn't. He didn't say that at all. Meanwhile, he's hiding. Like, he's like literally he's behind her skirt, like looking through her knees. You know what I mean? Like a 5-year-old on a shopping trip that he wants to just sleep on the floor. He's like, ah. And she makes him go in the fucking office, and she apologizes. Again, she frequently goes crazy apologizing. She's over the top, and finally, she gets it all squared away, and they hide him. Like, he's in the other room looking for a spoon to tunnel out, because if he fucking walks out, he's going to get jacked. But And so then we're in line, and we're kind of talking about it. I go, and I've said this on here too. The problem is there is no fear of getting punched anymore. There's no fear of retribution. I mean, there is in the Midwest and stuff like that, but here people talk shit all the time. They jaw and they jaw and they jaw, and then they smirk and they walk away because nothing fucking happens, because nobody's gonna get dropped, because they're gonna fucking sue you. You know what I mean? Or they're gonna go and get a gun and shoot you. Nobody just fucking handles it anymore. Like, like in the Old West, when a guy would be mouthing off in a bar, and a guy would just clip him on the chin, and he'd go down, and then they'd dust off his shirt, and they'd have a fucking thing of Old Panther, and that would be it. There you go. And then when that guy needed help later in a shootout, that guy would show up and go, well, you were kind to me, stranger. Bang, bang, everybody dies, everything's fine. Gene Autry sings a fucking song. John Wayne, bow-legged's off into the fucking sunset. Everybody's happy. But no, this little fucking guy, he's just like, he's wispy and snark. It's all snark. It's, he was internet snark come to life. If you were to look at all the internet snark and make it into the shape of a person, like in Weird Science, if you were to have it, really, if Wyatt, if fucking Ilan Mitchell-Smith and Anthony Michael Hall were to put bras on their heads and say, let's create internet snark, it would have been this little motherfucker that we had to deal with yesterday. And quite frankly, he's lucky he wasn't a goddamn smear on the rug by the time we were finished, because luckily they hit him. And again, also, he was talking to a group of actors who are pretend tough. Okay, let's be honest. We're all there for large man bully, but we drive our nice cars and we live in our nice places. But if he was like in a biker bar and he pulled that shit, Jesus Christ. I mean, he'd still be pulling cock out of his ass. I mean, it would have been fucking horrible. So it was weak, man. We were just there, and I thought a fight was going to fucking break out right there in the Arby's. So then I Twittered it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, an Arby's, unbelievable, huge brawl in an Arby's. But again, actor fist fight. That's why I wrote in my Twitter. I go, is there anything more ridiculous than that? Because it wasn't. It was just like a lot of pointing and snarking and yelling and all that. When in reality, someone just needed to punch him right in the fucking stomach, like right in the breadbasket. Not even in the head, not even a headshot or anything like that. He needed to feel it. He needed a goddamn gut shot. He needed to get fucking Mr. Oranged. Just fucking blasted right in the fucking solar plexus and have all of the noxious air go out of his body, so that maybe from the next breath that he took, he would resolve in his brain to only take in good breaths and expel good thoughts from that point on. You need to punch the snark out of that motherfucker, because he needs to realize that what he did was wrong. And you know what? He never will, because he hid in the fucking office. He needed to get fucking jacked.
Hi, I'm Brian Noonan. You're listening to Mike Schmidt on Never Not Funny.
No.
What do you mean?
No.
He left that show? What an idiot. What's this for then?
40-year-old boy.
40-year-old boy. Oh, boy. All right. Hi, this is Brian Noonan, and you're listening to Mike Schmidt's last grasp at success, The 40-Year-Old Boy, on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. Keep your fingers crossed. He really needs this.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and later, what the fuck happened to Kathleen Turner? Join your hosts EJ and Joaquin as they ponder one of the 80s favorite actresses.
So welcome back to What the Fuck Happened to Kathleen Turner. Last week when we were talking, I mentioned I thought she fell off a skateboard.
No, see, I heard she had lupus.
Lupus? I don't know if you smell up from lupus. Maybe she had mumps.
No, I'm thinking of shingles. I think it was shingles.
Shingles. I think she went to a carnival and they had one of those horses who jumps from a diving board and it was scared, and so she said she would take its place because she's an actress. And so she climbed up and she did a high dive and missed the pool and landed on her head.
I think I read that too.
What the fuck happened to Kathleen Turner? You'll find out on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
Are you sure it wasn't lupus?
And after all that nonsense, I went in, I made a mean face, and left. Literally, I don't know why they had us, because then they started taking us in 3 at a time, because I think they realized, hey, we want to get out of here too. And I walked in, and the guy was very nice. Casting director was nice, but literally I made a mean face and left. So I mean, I don't know. So when you see those Arby's commercials, if I'm in them, great. If I'm not, please realize those mean guys were much meaner than I could have ever hoped to be. Yeah, so that was, but I mean, just a fucking rumble at an audition. It's just, and it was funny. I Twittered it, and somebody Twittered back. That kind of thing happens around you a lot. And I'm like, well, I mean, I didn't do anything, but I guess I did. I kind of set the match on the fuse on that because it was just, it had to be done. All right, so I get home after that, and I tell Karen what happened, and we're there, and she made me some spaghetti squash. It was a wonderful meal. And I like spaghetti squash. Yeah, you know why? Because it's got two things. It's got spaghetti and squash. It doesn't really. Spaghetti squash is squash that's shaped like spaghetti. You use a fork and it comes off looking like spaghetti noodles, and then you put sauce on it, and you're not eating pasta then. You're eating like vegetable, which is good for you, from what I hear. All right. So there you go. That's a tip, folks. Enjoy vegetables. Never say I didn't do anything to educate you folks. There you go. Enjoy vegetables. All right. So I'm home last night, and then I get a book and go to I have to go to Graveyardville, and I head over there. And I call my wife, and I once I get there, and I to tell her that Ted Kennedy died because there was a special report on the television show. And my wife has a Kennedy Jones. Like, that's my wife. She's got a thing for the Kennedys, and by that I mean she likes Jackie and wanted to fuck John. Like, literally, that's her extent of the Kennedy involvement. She may think JFK was a nice guy, and she fascinated with Bobby, but my wife was fascinated with American Camelot, and really, I mean, like, still has the People magazines with John in them. I mean, like, she is. That's her deal. Like, I'm sure, as Night Ranger would say, when she closes her eyes, does she think about me? Nope, thinks about John. So, that's one of her guys, and so I wanted to tell her, huh?
She loves you, but she's in love with you.
Yeah, exactly. She loves me. She's in love with John. So, there's no doubt about that. So she and I can only imagine the discussions of cock size that go on about at work about John. All right, he's dead now. He's been dead like 11 years. Seriously, do you think? I mean, it still works? Could it work? I'll be honest with you. I think I love him enough that I could make it work. I would fuck his skeleton. That's probably what she's thinking. You know what? Even if his skeleton showed up, I wouldn't even care. I'd fuck his skeleton's air cock. That's what I would do. That's how she feels about John F. Kennedy. She would fuck his skeleton's air cock and still be satisfied with it. Because he wouldn't even need any of his John skin or hair. If she knew it was his skeleton, and she would fuck his air cock. That's how she would work John. That's how much in love with him she is. She just loves me. So so that's her thing. So I had to call her last night to tell her that Teddy was dead. She needed to know that immediately because I think we all know my fetish for getting information to people as soon as possible. So I call her up and I drop the Teddy knowledge on her, and because that's what I like to do. I'm the angel of death. And she's like, oh, okay, great. And so she looks it up, and I hang up. We're there. So then I'm sitting there, and I start to feel a little weird because I should say I had spaghetti squash, but it was a pesto. We didn't have red sauce. I've never had a pesto spaghetti squash. And then she made some angel hair, so I had a little bit of her angel hair, but I had mainly my spaghetti squash. Again, I know this sounds like Rocky with the blog has started, but I enjoy spaghetti squash whether I'm Fat Mike or regular Mike. Rocky with the blog again has not started, but I forgot. Oh, dude, I think the whole point of telling you something was earlier in the day. I ate the greatest thing I've ever eaten in my life over the weekend. It was our wedding anniversary. We went up at a place called Animal on Fairfax, and they have like bacon chocolate bars and all that kind of shit. But dude, they had this stuff called poutine, which is I guess in Canada it's gravy fries, but these guys made their own version of it. It's hand cut fries with like an oxtail gravy. Oh my god. It was like this food was so good it was you know what, it was fucking my mouth. That's what it was. It was like it was crazy. It was so good. It was so good I took a picture of it and I wanted to put it on Twitter, and then I realized I don't know how to fucking do that. So I just got a picture of fucking gravy fries on my phone because I am the fattest man on earth. Oh god, Rocky with a blog cannot come soon enough. All right, so what was I saying? So I called her about Ted. And then I'm sitting at the house, and I got the spaghetti squash with pesto, and it's roiling a little bit with angel hair. And we had a salmon. She made blackened salmon with it. And I got to tell you, I started to get like watery mouth, like that indicates, hey, something bad's about to happen. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, this is weird, because I'll fess up to you folks. In my time of being a fat guy and then getting the surgery and all this, I spend a certain amount of time making myself puke. All right, I'm not proud of it, but it's happened. Where I'll be like, I'll just jam a couple fingers down the throat to get rid of the in and out evidence in case CSI my stomach wants to come around and poke around looking for clues. I go ahead and make sure that everything's gone. I go, like 3 fingers deep, and I go, hey, how's that soft palate doing back there? And evacuate some burgers. So I've done that. But yesterday, I got watery mouth like it was going to, you know what, it didn't need any finger help. Literally, my body was like, yeah, we're not going to need your help on this one. We'll take it from here. Remember the old days when we used to throw up and we didn't need an assist? I've turned my body into a Model T. Like, I need to crank it in the front in order to get it to start up. But now my body's like, fuck that, dude. We're moving into the rocket age. We can go ahead and we're fuel injected. And so I got like, and it was so all of a sudden it started to happen. And I'm like, this isn't good. So I didn't even make it to the first floor bathroom that I've mentioned so many times. I had to hit the dumpster in the parking garage. That's how quickly it showed up. And it was spaghetti squash and salmon and angel hair and everybody taking their leave of me. They were marching out. It was like a band on the run, except it was food. All right, so. I don't know why that popped into my brain. So I'm like, oh man, I was like kind of a little groggy from that, and I ran upstairs and rinsed off, threw water in my face, did all the things I needed to do. Came downstairs, called Karen, and she answers the phone, and I'm sad. And I wanted to warn her in case there was something wrong with the food. And I was like, she answers the phone, and I go, hey, and she's like, oh, I'm looking up Ted Kennedy on the internet. I go, I got to tell you something. All of a sudden, on the other end of the phone, I just hear bam, 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 like the loudest banging. And she goes, oh my God. And I go, what's going on? And then I hear the doorbell, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. She goes, Michael, someone's banging on the door. And I just hear bam, 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 bam. And I hear ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. The doorbell's going and there's a pounding on the door. And I know you're thinking exactly what I was thinking. The possum's back and he's come for my wife. Because that's all I can think. I mean, I'm like, what the? There's pounding and this weird, crazy noise. I'm like, I don't believe it. He heard the show. Somehow he heard last week's show. And he found out where I am. And he knows. You know why? Because he knows I'm not there. He knows when I work. He knows that I'm not in the fucking house. And now he shows up to take out my wife. Because you know what? He knows he can't get me. He's going to hit me where I live. He's coming after my loved ones, and there's not a goddamn thing I can do about it. So that goes through my brain. And of course, my wife's in an emergency. There's pounding, and she's freaking out. She goes, what should I do? I go, well, don't answer it. The windows are closed and locked, right? She goes, yeah. I go, do not let anybody in the house. Do not. I go, just ask. Say, who is it? And she goes over, and I can hear her on the phone. She says, who is it? And I hear this guy say, it's Albert. I need help. And Albert is a neighbor of ours. And I tell Karen, I go, you do not let him in the fucking house. And he starts yelling, Larry's going crazy. I got nowhere to go. I need help. And he starts pounding on the door again. And she goes, Albert, I can't help you. I'll call the police if you want me to. And I go, Karen, no, if he wants you to, call the police. Hang up with me and call the police. And he's yelling. He's like, please, can I come in your house, please? I go, you do not let him in the house because I'm fucking weird. Okay, nobody gets near my wife unless I'm around. That's just the way it is. I mean, because Karen wants to help people. Like literally, if a bleeding, I think I told you this story. We were at 7-Eleven one time, and I'm repeating. I don't care. But she went to give a homeless guy cigarettes, and he reached in the car and grabbed her, like went to grab her arm, and I flew out the fucking door, and I almost decapitated the guy in the fucking parking lot. It was just insane because it's like don't do that. So I told her, I go, don't open the door. And so she's confused, like she's freaking out because he's hitting the door hard. I can hear it through the phone. She's trying to talk to me. He's yelling, and then she says again, "If you want me to call the police, I will." I go, "Call the police! Don't negotiate with this idiot." I go, "Just tell him he can't come in the house. I'm on my way home." And she goes, "Okay, I'll call the police." So she hangs up, calls the police. I immediately get in the car. I fucking drive over, and I'm only 5 minutes away from my house. I pull up. And I go walking in, from my parking garage up the hallway, where the helicopter was. You guys know where I'm at, right? Okay, so I walk up. I'm trying to paint a picture of my house. And I get in, and Albert is sitting in front of my front door. He's on the ground. And he's like barefoot, and he's wearing jeans, but with let me paint a picture of Albert for you, all right? Albert's a little creepy. I'm not going to lie to you. He's got this weird, bad pencil thin, like the kind of mustache you'd grow when you were 13, but he's like 37. And he's about 6'7" or 6'8", and he might weigh 110 pounds. I mean, he's a tiny, you could slip him into a manila envelope and mail him if you wanted to. He's like the human Psy, but with more creepy and less snarky. Does that make sense? Cool. So he's there, and he's sitting on the ground, like barefoot, with he's got like a track jacket on, but it's open. He's got no shirt on. He's just got jeans on. He looks like somebody who has fled a situation. And I woke up and he goes, "Hi, Mike. I need some help. I'm sorry." And I go, "It's okay. You just can't come in if I'm not here." So I go in the house, and I go, "You can come in." And again, creepy. Okay, here's how creepy he is. He crawls into my house. He doesn't stand up. He literally, like a cat, he just crawls silently into my house. And again, he's like 6'7", literally 6'7", 6'8", so he's all limbs. So he just this weird. He looks like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of. Did you ever see the excerpted scene from The Exorcist when Linda Blair turns into a spider? Spider walks down the stairs. Have you ever seen it? Dude, fucking brutal. But that's, her head turns around and she literally spider walks down the stairs. He spider walks into my house, okay? I mean, that's fucking creepy. It's creepy enough that he's barefoot and a tracksuit. He's out sitting on the ground. Get up. Be a man. So he's sitting there, and I don't know what happens. So I get it. He crawls in and he sits on my floor, okay? And I say to Karen, because I don't like people in my house, especially at, it's 11 o'clock at night. I had to come over here, and so I said, well, "What's going on?" And Karen's like, "Nothing. He was knocking on the door, and I said, "Not you, him." I said, "What's going on?" And she's all shaken up, so I'm trying to hold on to her because she's all freaked out because he was pounding on the fucking door. And he's like, "Well, Larry went crazy. He's been crazy for the past 3 days." I should tell you that Albert and Larry are a gay couple who live in my building. Albert is the creepy one who crawled into my house. And Larry's the one who his cologne smells a lot like scotch. Doesn't matter what time of day it is. He's tied one on. He may as well have just come out of Mad Men. I mean, literally, he spends the entire day drinking. That's what Larry does. So I don't know who runs the show in that house. All I know is it's here's all right, creepy, just creepy. Here's something that Albert did. Albert gave my wife a rubber tree, and it's outside of our house, but then he will come over and check on it. "How's my tree doing?" It's not your tree anymore. You gave the fucking tree away. You've relinquished all rights to the tree. You signed over the fucking tree. My wife waters it. It's hers. You didn't want it anymore. "Well, okay, I just wanted to see how my tree is doing. Leave me alone." So, and again, this might be my problem, folks. I'm a creepy guy myself, I guess. I don't like people. All right, whatever. So he's in the house. He's telling us that Larry went crazy, and he's been, for 3 days, he won't do anything. He sits in the house, and he's just getting angrier, and he's drinking, and he's got the blinds closed, and he won't let any light in the house. And Albert's like, I tried to go to sleep, and he keeps taking the pillows, and he's hitting me with them, and he won't let me sleep, and he's yelling, and he's smashing all of the photographs, all the frames, and I'm like, "All right, dude, calm down." I go, "Karen, did you call the cops?" She goes, "Yeah, I called the police." So I'm in the house. Karen's, ready for bed, and Albert's on the floor, and the thing is, like, Karen is wearing, boy shorts and a shirt, and normally that would bother me, except for the fact that I know Albert isn't exactly interested. So I'm like, but she's so freaked out and weird, she didn't, she just answered the door and whatever, or she didn't change clothes until I came home. So she called the cops. We're waiting, and he's going on. And then he's like, "Oh, I've got to call my mother." I mean, if you're a grown man, you're going to call your mom for help. Whatever. It's just me. It's weird. So he gets the phone, and he wants to make a collect call. "Can I please make a collect call?" And I'm like, I would love to, but my calendar says 2009. So no, you can go ahead and make a regular call. It's fine. So Karen, I'm making eye contact with Karen, like, how much longer is this going to happen? And in the meanwhile, you can hear smashing and stuff being from their apartment across the courtyard. And I don't even want to go out there. Like, I don't even know what's happening, but you just hear, like, kind of like foul mouth yelling and whatever. But nobody else is doing anything. Like, nobody else has come out of their apartment. Nobody else is saying anything. And Albert fled to us. Albert said he went to the manager's house, but they wouldn't answer the door. And quite frankly, I don't blame them. They got a kid. They got like a 5-year-old. And why I wouldn't, some crazy scarecrow outside pounding on my door. I'm not letting him in. So he crawls in. I don't want to spider walk in and scare the shit out of my kid. So I don't blame them for not answering. So we're in the house. We're waiting. And he calls his family. And I'm sitting there with Karen. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, my parents are in New Mexico. I have to call them." And Karen goes, "Oh, where are they at in New Mexico?" And he says, Albuquerque. And Karen goes, Michael loves Albuquerque. And then she looks at me and just makes a smiley face like, ha ha, because I hate New Mexico. I can't stand it. People have tried to steal stuff from me. I've almost been in fights. But it was just, she knows I don't even want to be involved. I'm literally sitting at my desk on the computer, and I'm letting her deal with it. I'm so separate from it, and she sucks me in with Michael loves Albuquerque. And he's like, oh, what part? What do you like about it? And she goes, oh, he's been in there, and he was in Santa Fe. He really liked that. And I'm looking at her like, you are a dick. And she's just like smiling at me like, ha ha. And he's like, oh, we call Santa Fe Santa Flake. And I'm like, ah ha ha, make your phone call. So he calls his family. And it's sad because he breaks down in tears and he's talking to his mom then he says, I need your phone numbers. Here, I'll give you to Mike and Mike can write them down. What? Now I'm your fucking stenographer? Are you kidding me? But I have to take the phone from Albert, and I talk to his mom, very nice woman. She gives me her number. She gives me the stepdad's number. And then she's like, yeah, it sounds like there's a big mess over there. And I said, yep. And she's like, yeah, well, I just want to thank you for protecting my son. I'm like, well, that has not happened. I don't want to, I don't know what to say. Seriously, I want to thank you for having a creepy son. I don't know. Maybe he can Spiderwalk back to fucking Albuquerque. I don't know how it's going to work. So he's in my house, and I hear smashing, and it's like, and cops, still no cops, by the way. Now we're a half hour in, no cops. So I call the cops again. And I don't call 911. Karen called 911. I just call the police station, and I go, look, officer, whatever. I go, I just had a muscle spasm, and it's moving my leg. It's the weirdest thing. That fucking weirdly distracted me. Oh, that was crazy. Sorry, folks. All right. Maybe we cut that out. I don't know. I'll leave it to your discretion. So anyway, I get the cop on the phone. I go, look, we made a phone call about a half hour ago, domestic disturbance. He's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I have no way of tracing whether that call was made. I said, what do you mean? You don't keep a log of reports? And I said, with an address? And didn't you dispatch a squad car? He goes, I really can't check on it. All I can tell you is if they told you they would be there, they'll be there. Very reassuring. So thanks. Cool. I'm like, where are all the cops? Where could they possibly be that you can't keep track of them all? What's happening? So I said, all right. I go, and I told them, my own fault. I told them it was a non-emergency because it was a non-emergency. All that's being harmed right now is furniture and glass that I can hear outside my window. So now it's going to be a little late. Now time is going by. Albert's sitting on the couch, and Karen then says, well, where do you have a place to go? And I go into the kitchen and I look around the counter trying to make eye contact with her. And he's like, well, I don't know where I could go. I don't know. I didn't get to grab my wallet, so I don't know where I would sleep. And I'm looking at her, and I'm giving her, she finally makes eye contact with me, and I'm fucking making a throat slash. I'm just like, there's no fucking way Spiderwalk Johnson is sleeping in my goddamn apartment. Because I can't stay. I got to leave, and I got to go to work, and I'm not leaving him alone in the apartment with Karen. Again, I'm pretty sure that rape's not going to be an issue. But we all know that rape is more of a power thing than a sex thing, so who knows? Who knows what the fuck's going to happen? I'm not leaving him in there. It's not happening. So, I give her the throat slash, and she just kind of like makes a face, and he's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. And she says to him, well, but are you sure you don't have anywhere to go? Oh my God, stop! Put your olive branch away. Tuck it into your boy shorts, because he's not sleeping here. It's not happening. And so I'm giving her like the furious face, and quite frankly, a face that if I had made it earlier would have booked the Arby's commercial for me immediately. If only this had happened then for me to bring that motivation in. I breezed right by the human sigh and his living embodiment of snark, and I booked me a fucking Arby's job immediately. I guess I just wasn't mad enough. So then I'm looking at her, I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. Next, I bring Spiderwalk to auditions with me from now on anytime I got to be mean. So I'm making the face at her, and then she goes, I'm calling the police again. She calls the police because now it's been an hour, and they're still not there. And I don't know what he's breaking over there. I don't know if they must have lived in a house of glass, because all I hear is smashing, and that's great. I don't envy the person who has to clean it up, but good luck to you. Keep smashing. Who's that mad? Who stays that mad for an hour? But he continues to break shit. So we call the cops a second time. This time they put Karen on hold, and apparently the guy I talked to was just starting out. He had no idea about the log or anything. Well, these guys told Karen, yes, that call went out. There are 3 calls ahead of you. They're going to be on their way. We know it's been an hour. We apologize. Is it an emergency? And Karen goes, well, there's a lot of loud noises and smashing going on, and the victim's in our house, but we can't keep them here all night. And they're like, all right, well, we're on our way. So Karen hangs up the phone, and I look at Albert and I go, hey, this is great and all. We're getting to, but you can't stay here. You can't. I got to leave, and I can't leave you in the house with my wife. So if you want to go out by the pool and watch your life being destroyed before your very eyes, that's fine. But unfortunately, I can't have you in here while I'm not here. And he's like, that's all right. I understand. I don't know why the police haven't come. Maybe I can go stay with the manager. And as he's saying that, I see the manager walk by our building. So I catch him outside. He's a good guy. And I explain to him what's going on. And he can see what's going on because when I walk outside, I look and everything is being thrown out of the apartment. I hear smashing and stuff because he's throwing things into the courtyard and into the swimming pool. Like there's just fucking debris all over the courtyard. And I personally can't understand why nobody else has called the cops. What are you people doing? So the manager's like, well, I'll call the cops again. I go, good, do that because we've called them 3 times. So I go inside. I go, Albert, you can't stay here. So he goes, all right, no problem. And he walks out and I look at Karen. I go, look, I got to split. You're locking this door behind me, and you're not opening it again. I mean, I don't care what happens. Seriously, this does not sound like it's going to end well, but you stay out of it. Because Karen, her first instinct is to help people always. She wants to help somebody. I'm sure she's probably thinking she's going to go talk to Larry. Talk some sense into him. I'm just like, dude, seriously, you're on lockdown. You're not going anywhere, okay? If the cops come, you answer the door, and you tell them what's what, and then you go to bed. Do something. Stay out of their way. She's like, okay, no problem. And I love my wife because she'll help anybody, but unfortunately, she'll do it at the expense of her own well-being sometimes, and it's ridiculous. So I go outside. The fucking courtyard is a mess, and I tell the manager, look, I'm split, and I bail. I go back to the office. I get to the office. 10 minutes later, Karen calls. And I go, hey, what's happening? She goes, oh, my God. I said, what? She goes, the police are here. And they came in, and Larry has a gun. I go, pardon me? She goes, Michael, there's like 100 cops here. And also I hear a noise. She goes, there's a helicopter above our building with the light shining inside. I go, what are you talking about? She goes, the police came, 2 of them came, and they went to get Larry, and they knocked on his door, and he said he had a gun. And then they pulled their guns, and then they called for backup. Michael, there's 100 cops. I said, what do you mean 100? She goes, Michael, they have their guns. They have shotguns and like rifles. There's a SWAT team here, and I hear the helicopter, and I'm like, I'm 5 minutes away. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. What are you doing? She goes, well, I'm at the window. Get the fuck away from the window. There's a SWAT team. Get away from the window. I go, do you have all the lights out and everything's closed and locked and everything? And she said, yeah, it's okay, but I'm making sure. And I go, look, I'll be right there. So I fucking get out, and I'm on the cell phone with her the whole time. I get into my car, and I turn on my block. I counted 22 police cars.
Oh, my God.
Lights on, unmarked cars, SWAT van, all up on the fucking, up on the sidewalk and around the back. So the funny thing is there are all these cop cars and they're unmanned. Like nobody's in them. So quite frankly, if you wanted to, you could steal the entire police force's car, their entire fleet. So I pull around the back and I go to drive in, and there's cops there, and I go, hey, my wife is in there. I live here. Can I pull in? He goes, no, we're in tactical lockdown. You can't do it. You need to find a place to park somewhere else. I go, great. I don't give a fuck about parking. My wife's in the building. Can I get in the building? He goes, we're in tactical lockdown. She's fine. There's police in there. Just tell her to get down on the floor. Oh, well, yeah, it sounds like she's fine. It sounds like she's great if you're telling me she needs to lie face down on the goddamn floor. So I find a place I double park. I just fucking pull over, and I have the cell phone again. I try to go in the front door. There's 8 cops, guns drawn. They're all like up in the front, and I say, "Look, can I come in? I live here." And the guy's like, "No, you can't come in. Look around." And I said, "Look, but I know, but my wife is in there." And he goes, "She'll be safe. Just have her lay down on the floor." Again, I don't think that's safe. That doesn't sound safe to me. You got make sure she's out of the way of any stray bullets is not safe. I'm sorry. That's advice, but it's not safe. So I'm out front. I got the phone. I'm talking to Karen. I go, look, they say you're fine. You just need to lay down on the floor. And she's just like, oh my God, Michael. And I go, well, you don't have to whisper, I don't think. And she's like, no, there's cops out back. They're like, because, around my building, out the bathroom window and stuff like that, there's cops. She said they're all over. They're on the roof. And I can see them. I can see cops on the roof. Again, helicopter. 1 million cops, shotguns, everything. And now looky-loos are outside. Okay, there's looky-loos. Camera crew is outside. And they all start speculating about what's going on in there. One of them's got a police radio. He's like, yeah, there's a guy in there. He's threatening suicide. He's got a gun, and he's crazed on PCP. And then another guy walks up and goes, oh, the helicopter just woke me up. What's happening? They go, oh, it's a drug-crazed standoff. And I walk over and I go, I live here. I called the cops. I don't think it's a drug-crazed standoff. They completely ignore me. Yeah, I don't think heroin makes you that crazy. I think it's got to be PCP, but this guy's insane. And they said that he's going to shoot himself and he's got a gun. And now I'm offended because I'm like, dudes, I fucking live here. I started this motherfucking thing. I called the cops. And now the looky-loos don't even want to hear my opinion of it. So I go from being worried about Karen to pissed off at these assholes. Hey, dudes, I fucking live here. If it wasn't for me, Albert would still be in there with his fucking neck getting wrung by Larry. You ought to thank God for me. I made this fucking phone call and rousted you out of the fucking dead of night sleep that you were in. I'm responsible for this whole goddamn thing. I want a little respect from you people. But they completely blow me off. They're asking the cops questions. They're asking what's going on, what apartment. I could tell you everything if you just fucking listen to me. Camera crew jackass? PCP heroin speculator? No, I know exactly what happened. A couple of gay guys got in a scrap and one of them spider-walked over to my house. So now I'm mad at them. And Karen's just like, who are you talking to? I go, oh, there's a whole crowd out here. It's ridiculous. So I go, are you on the floor yet? Because honestly, that's the advice I'm getting. No. She's looking out the window. She's seeing cops everywhere, SWAT team. And in the middle of it, all of a sudden we just start hearing them bang. They break in the door. Wham, wham, like the huge battering ram, and you hear this fucking huge echoing noise, and I'm waiting for gunshots, and Karen's like, oh my God, they're breaking into his house. I go, yeah, well, good, stay away and just don't look, and there's the whole place it looks like a movie because it's just SWAT teams and crazy cops and guns, and I'm waiting to get into my house, and you hear them banging on the door, and in the middle of it, a couple walks up, and they go, oh man, what's going on? And I go, there's a domestic dispute. And so the cops are in there. And she goes, well, I live here. I live right there in apartment 1. I go, well, I live here too. And they wouldn't let me in. So good luck. And she goes, oh, I'm just so tired. I just want to go to bed. I don't care about what's going on. And I'm like, yes, by all means, Miss World Weary, nothing affects me. There are 100 cops in your apartment building with their guns drawn, but you're tired and would like to get a nap. Sorry you're inconvenienced. So she walks up to the front. I go, good luck to you. Go ask the cops. She walks up to the cop, and a different cop, and she says, hey, I live here, right here in apartment 1. Can I come in? And the cop goes, you have any ID? Wait a minute. I came up, and you guys pointed guns at me. I seriously. So he does. He checks her ID, and he lets her in. So I go, fuck this. I go walking right up, and I go, hey, I live here too. And he goes, well, you got any ID? I go, well, how come you guys didn't ask for ID earlier? He goes, well, we think we have it under control now. We banged in the door. And I said, okay, so I live in an apartment over here. And he goes, yeah, come on in. So I walk in, and there's cops and everybody with guns. And I come walking around the corner, and 2 cops point their guns at me by my apartment. They go, who are you? And I go, I live here. I live in this apartment right here. They said it was okay to come into the front door. Like, are you guys not talking to one another? You got to be fucking kidding me.
Oh my God.
There's SWAT team. There's all these people. They're banging in the door. I mean, it's all located. You know what? Where all the broken dishes and shit is? That's where the problem is. Do you think somehow I'm Larry and I escaped when you banged in the door and now I'm making my way into this apartment? Are you crazy? You point a fucking gun at me, both of you? So I lose my mind. I go, I live right here. They said it was okay at the front door to come in. And then after that, you hear on their radio, we're letting in people from the front door. So like they now there's he's like, all right, go ahead. Fuck. So I go in my house, and I walk in, and Karen's all freaked out, and all the lights are out, and she's all in secret. I go, are you okay? She goes, yeah, I'm fine. I go, you just go to bed. I go, they said it's fine. Everything's shut down. They got Larry. And out in the courtyard, I hear Albert, and he just goes, oh, I can't believe this is happening. Why did this happen to me? I'm like, dude, now it's happening to everybody. You don't own this anymore. Now the entire complex is out. And Karen goes, oh, is Albert okay? I go, I don't know. He's outside, and his boyfriend is being, wrestled to the ground by a SWAT team. She goes, oh, well, I gave him a towel and a pillow in case he had to sleep out by the pool. I go, and all right, folks, my wife again, caring individual, me, not so much. I go, what pillow did you give him? She goes, you know that round foam pillow you hate? I go, I don't hate that pillow. I love that pillow. I go, did you get it back from him? She goes, no. And I go, oh, we're never going to get that back. Because God forbid, I'm sure the SWAT team has filled it full of holes at this point. But so I said, oh, we're never going to get the back. She goes, you hate that pillow. I go, no, I press my arm on it every day. It doesn't matter what it was. She could have given him, hey, I gave him a dead mouse. I love that mouse. Quit giving my shit away. Quit throwing away my cake. Quit giving away my stuff. So she finally is relaxing. She's sitting on the chair, and we hear the rustling outside, and they're yelling for Albert, and Albert's like, oh, what does he want? He wants to talk to me. I don't think they should have him talk to him. I don't know what. Again, I'm divorced from all that. So I go. Look, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Are you okay? So I go in the bathroom, and all the lights are out. So which takes some navigating. You got to figure out. But I have a good sense of where my toilet is. So I start to take a leak, and flashlight in my back window, and I look over and I see a cop, and he's got his flashlight looking in. I thought it was a gun at first in his hand, but it might have been a radio. I just saw it shine in the flashlight. It was like a flint, like a glint of light, and he shines the flashlight in my apartment while I'm taking a piss. And I just look out, and it's him, and I can see you see a couple cops, and I just go, how's it going, fellas? And because again, apparently they'd been talking to the people at my wife's work, and they wanted to see if all the stories were true. I have no idea. I don't fucking know why they needed to shine up. Again, everything's happening across the apartment building. You don't need to look into my goddamn house with a flashlight. So I'm standing there taking a look. I go, how's it going, fellas? And they just keep walking. Radio, they walk off. So I leave. And I tell Karen, I go, look, just go to bed, relax. Everything's fine. They're all leaving, I guess. Eventually, these 1,000 cops will be gone. I go outside. Now there's a ton of looky-loos outside, and an ambulance, and a fucking, fire engine, and everything. And I'm out there, and I stop. And again, camera crew guy is speculating about PCP, and they're all talking about the crazed maniac. And they start to bring Larry out. He's on a stretcher. And he's got that weird oxygen mask on, and he's, I don't know if they tackled him. I don't know what the fuck happened to him. He passed out. I don't know. So I'm standing there, and he's yelling. He's moaning, and he's like, "Oh, you know what? This is fucking unbelievable, man. I can't fucking believe it. It's bad." And he's just yelling incoherently, kind of just babbling, and they're rolling him out on the stretcher, and they got him completely tied down, not, I'm sure 5150, but no straitjacket, but the belts are across him, and he can't move. He's secure. And he's yelling. He's like, fuck, yeah. And they go to wheel him out for the looky-loos, and they roll him up on the sidewalk, and he rolls up, and he stops yelling and flailing around, and he just goes, hi, Mike. He's rolling in a stretcher, 9 cops, ambulance, fucking looky-loos, everything. He's, fuck, I can't believe it. Hi, Mike. And I just go, hi, Larry. And they roll him off and put him in the ambulance. You guys can get me at Mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can get me at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. And that, of course, is the number 40. You guys can get me at MySpace.com/MikeSchmidtComedy. Follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to do that at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy, also with the number 40. And again, remember, you can follow, you can't follow Lily because she's snooty. She doesn't let people follow her. But I can tell you that you can find Lily or email her. You can find her on Facebook at Facebook.com/LilyVonStupp. Or you can find her at Burlesque411. That's Lily at Burlesque411.com. Lili at Burlesque411.com. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, host of the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast, which you're listening to right now. Wanted to tell you about Skull Pie t-shirts and year one download sets available now for your college student or for your toddler or your preteen. Any children that are going back to school would appreciate this as a gift. So go ahead and pick up a Skull Pie t-shirt. These are available at MikeSchmidtComedy.com, or get a year one download set, also available at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Lily's laughing, and she won't laugh out loud, so it's throwing me off. It's a little strange. So go ahead and pick up year one download sets and Skull Pie t-shirts for yourself, for your college student, again, for any child that you might have, any child you might know about. I know my audience tends to get around. I am dumb. All right, so go ahead and pick up a year one download set, pick up a Skull Pie t-shirt, all from the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. That's right, the 40-Year-Old Boy. 52 episodes, $25, one brutally funny podcast. Remember, every Monday night is the Monday Night Tease at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. The circus show, again, a big hit. I'll try to get Lily to put up a picture of her circus outfit when she gets it. Unless she wants to do it right now. Go ahead. Try it on right now. Take a picture of you.
I would have to do my hair and makeup.
Oh, God. All right. Never mind. So, big show this week. Anybody fancy? Anything happening? Yes, no?
We have a trio.
A trio?
Very excited.
Okay, there's a trio this week.
Yeah.
Do they have a name?
Booze Hound Burlesque.
Booze Hound Burlesque will be at this week's Monday Night Tease. That's at Santa Monica and Vine, the 3 clubs, 10 o'clock p.m. All the information is available at burlesque411.com or mondaynighttease.com or on Lily Von Stupp's Facebook page. Go be her friend. And then you can be my friend. And we'll all be mutual friends. And then we'll be a trio. Booze Hound Facebook-lesque. That's what we'll be. And also, I mentioned the emails. I'll get to those, I swear, in the next few days. And as soon as I get Rocky with a blog rolling, I get a doctor tomorrow. Everything's happening. So please, just hang tight on the emails. I promise to answer. There was someone actually who asked for the recipe for peanut butter jelly cake, and I will get that to you. I would say that was my anniversary, so my wife made me peanut butter chocolate cake. She abandoned jelly and went peanut butter chocolate and did not throw it away. So that's lurking. And as soon as that's gone, again, we're right on the horse, right? Yes? No, it's not ever happening, is it? It'll happen. I swear it'll happen. But we had a great anniversary. We went to Kings of Leon. That was a great show. And then my wife almost got shot yesterday. So that was a couple of days after the anniversary. So it made it that much more exciting, which is good. But I said we saw Kings of Leon, and it's funny. I get ads. I get stuff all the time, emails, because I have a Citibank card or 4 of them. I don't remember exactly how many I have. But because of that, I'm in their rewards program, so I get to buy cheap concert tickets or whatever. So I got an ad this week from Citibank, and it had featured offers, and it had an offer for Chelsea Handler. Apparently, is coming to Los Angeles, and she's also going to be in Connecticut. That was the offer I got in December. I don't know why they think I would fly to see her. I guess it's just a standard email. But here's my favorite part. I have to read this. It's my favorite part. It says, Chelsea Handler, the star of E's hilarious late-night talk show Chelsea Lately, Chelsea Handler has become one of America's funniest comedians. Asterisk. Now, usually when there's an asterisk, that means that there's a footnote somewhere. So I scrolled down in the email, and I'm not kidding you. It says asterisk. It says, per Live Nation as verified by industry standard reporting agencies. Now, I don't know what industry standard reporting agencies are reporting on America's funniest comedians. I can tell you I think it might be a fucking waste of time, certainly a waste of money, but it's good to know that Citibank disavowed themselves from whether you would enjoy the Chelsea Handler show by hanging it all on Live Nation and some weird government industry that is rating the hilarity of comedians. Fantastic. I can only imagine the size of the asterisk that would come with this fucking podcast. Citibank, hey, go check out the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. Asterisk, verified by everyone to be moderately entertaining, although we certainly don't want to take any responsibility for it. Possums not included. That's what it would say. Something fucking wrong. I don't know. Again, I don't know what government agency is reporting on Mondo hilarity, but I think it's good to know that they're out there. Forget the economy. Forget healthcare. We need a death board for comedians. We need to go ahead and just bring up your any comedian that blows has to go in front of a death board, and they just, you know what, you're finished. I'm sorry, you can't be performing anymore. We got no interest in having you on stage any longer. Our board has spoken. Now go ahead and put this asterisk on your forehead. You know what? That's what they'll do. They'll carve an asterisk in their forehead, like on Bastards, and Inglourious Bastards, when they carve a swastika in a forehead. You can't take your uniform off. Here's something you can't take off. Well, if you're an unfunny comedian, we're going to carve a fucking asterisk into your head. You can't take that off, and everyone's going to see it and go, yep, this guy didn't. dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a decent guy because I am a jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Man, I'm an awful guy. I'm not an awful guy. I am not a good guy. But I don't think I'm a bad person overall. So, and go ahead and by all means judge that. I'm kind of a jag-off. I got no future. What am I talking about? But I am a jag-off. And I'm not a jerk. I'm a nice guy. It's just I guess I have jerky tendencies. I've done so much ridiculous stuff, and then I wonder afterwards, I'm like, man, how come I don't hang out with anybody? Here's why, because you're a dick. You're fit. 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 You're fit.